Get your microphones turned on and ready to go. We're excited. Sounding a very good class today, but you didn't come to hear me say that. So we'll turn it over to head coach Chad Morris. He'll begin with the statement, talk about some players, and then we'll take questions from the floor.
Sorry about that right there. They said when I win a game, they'll give me the code to get in the team room. So it's a few more months away till I have to learn the code. So, but excited to have y'all. Thank y'all for coming out. It's okay to laugh. You're going to learn that about me as you cover me. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. That's what I firmly believe in. There's a lot of hard work, but there's going to be a lot of fun involved. So you'll hear me make some comments, and it's okay to laugh and have a good time. Want to really thank all the people from President Turner again, and Rick Hart, Matt Roberts, and for trusting me to be the next head football coach at SMU, and I know we've talked about this. It's truly an honor and a privilege to be in front of you today, and but it's far, far, far more than just about me. We've got a group of men and women upstairs in our football offices that are housed temporary up in the 5th floor of the press box that have put in hours upon hours upon hours, 7 days a week since December the 1st, to ensure us a good class. And as I sit in front of you, I can't express enough that the young men that have, and families and high school coaches that have trusted us with their student athletes and their sons for the next 4 years, 5 years of their future, I can't express enough, a thank you enough to that. Very sincere to me to really get that out there. But to the coaches and everybody, our support staff on the 5th floor, from our professors to from our custodians to the field workers, to the people that you don't get to see and hear, the people in our maintenance department helping set up our buildings, our rooms to recruiting weekends and help us get it flipped from a meeting setting to a luncheon setting. That's who it's really all about. They're the ones that made this whole thing possible for us to sit here in front of you a month and a half later and say that we've signed the #3 ranked class in our conference, which is remarkable. So a big thank you to them as well. Couldn't have done it without them. And we'll start out with kind of going through this class, and I want to start with one name in particular as we start this. The actual the first commit that we had coming here on I guess it was the 3rd day we were here, was Hunter Herndon. Hunter was a quarterback out of North Forney High School, but has been recruited to play a tight end, what we call our 3-back, H-back position. So he was our very first commit. He trusted in us. Excited about him and his family, great family. And we'll talk a little bit more about him. But really the guy that really stepped out and stepped above and beyond was a young man, a quarterback by the name of Ben Hicks from Waco Midway High School. Ben enrolled in January. He's already been here for 3 weeks. If you didn't know any better, you would think Ben Hicks is a 3rd-year veteran right here. He's been a part of this recruiting class, and he's been extremely important in the process of getting and landing some of these high-profile players that we've got on our roster. And tell you a little bit about Ben. The Sunday before signing day, or I'm sorry, the Sunday before dead period in December, we all knew Ben was going to make a decision and enroll in school in January. So there was no time for an official visit. All we had was about 4 hours, 2 of which Ben chose to come over. He and his dad drove over on a Sunday afternoon, and we sat in the press box on a rainy Sunday afternoon, and Ben and his dad listened to the vision that we have for this program. And I asked a lot of questions and believed in what we were trying to sell and believed in his future here at SMU. And we knew that it was going to take a special guy to step across that line, because we can sell all day long the great academics that we have at this university. That's an easy sell. And the great professors and the support that we have here, that's easy to sell. But what's hard to sell a football program that's been 1-11. And so to share a vision and to sell that vision to him was very instrumental, and more instrumental in the fact that he believed in it. This young man believed in it, chose to commit to us after about a 45-minute conversation his mom and my wife had right before Christmas. I think I had to give Paula a lot of credit on this, because her and Miss Beth did a lot of talking and trusted that her baby would be taken care of. And so again, Ben Hicks stepped out above, and when it wasn't popular. And this is not only a great class because it's a pioneering class of this program, but we're going to look at this class in 4 and 5 years down the road, and we're going to say, you know what, that was the class that got it turned. They are the class that believed in the vision that the coaching staff and Coach Morris was selling, and it started with Ben Hicks. So Ben, coached by Terry Gamble at Waco Midway, obviously just a high profile, finished number 2 in the Elite 11, and a big-time recruit. Glad to have Ben Hicks. Alex Honey, a 6'4" wide receiver. One of the key things we felt like we had to address in this class was the size of our wide receivers. I believe we have to create some height and some length in what we do, and so it was a main target to go out and get some guys with that. Alex Honey, a 6'4½", kid out of Denton Geyer, coached by John Walsh. Great program. Man, he's got such a huge upside. This young man is almost 200 pounds. He's got a great burst and can really go up and get the ball. So excited about Alex. James Prochet. James is a young man that was committed to the prior staff that was here before us. Was a young man that we honored his commitment, and was really excited about James. James is a dynamic player out of DeSoto. Obviously, with our connection with Coach Mathis, we would have recruited this young man had we been here. And so excited about James, and more excited about the fact that this young man could have left to go several other places, but he believed in our staff and stayed on board with us. And was really instrumental in helping us land some of these wide receivers, just as Ben Hicks was. Myron Gilliard. Myron's another one that was committed to the prior staff. A young man, 5'9", 165. Played for Coach Brown at Mansfield Timberview. A young man that's got great acceleration, and excited about Myron. He comes from a family of educators. And to have his mom and dad, he came up on the official visit and talked to them about that this is far more than just about football. This is about making sure that each and every one of these young men graduate. And as they sign with us, I've shared with them from the get-go, if you're not committed to graduating from SMU, you're at the wrong place, and you're wasting your Saturday afternoon, so you can go somewhere else if you need to. Nobody left, so they all are committed to graduating, and we're committed to making sure that happens. Kevin Thomas, another wide receiver from DeSoto High School. This was a young man that we were highly recruited young man that we had to beat several people in the Big 12 on. Obviously played for Coach Mathis. We had offered him at Clemson. Felt like he was a dynamic player for us. He was a very early offer for us, and so the relationship that I had with him and with Coach Mathis and Coach Peterman, Todd Peterman, who is the interim coach right now at DeSoto, excited about him. He's 6'3", 180. Another young man that's got great acceleration and has the opportunity to really make an impact quickly. I expect a lot of these young men to step on the field and be ready to go when we line up against Baylor right out here. That's how excited we are about this clash. But Kevin Thomas is a young man that's we're going to remember his name for a long time. Another young man that they're extremely excited about, a young man that we recruited as well, had offered at where I'd been before, Xavier Castile, 5'11", 195, wide receiver, return specialist out of Rockwall, coached by Rodney Webb. Now this young man is as dynamic a player as I'm going to talk about today. I'm extremely excited about Xavier. We had to beat, again, several big-time teams in the Big 12 on, and a few ACC schools. But again, he believed in the vision. Our relationship with Coach Webb was really what kind of helped as much as anything. And his mom and dad coming here and just seeing the process and getting to meet the professors, sit down with them and talk about his future. Again, that was an easy sell. And so you're gonna see these two young men, Kevin Thomas and Xavier Castile, are going to make an impact in a hurry around here. So excited about those guys. We've talked about Hunter Herndon, the big quarterback out of North Forney, that 6'4", 240. Great athlete. We're moving him to tight end, coached by Lance Gary. Again, a young man that was committed to another school and came up here, gave us a chance, and decided this was a great fit for him. So excited about Hunter Herndon. Braden West, another key need that we felt like we had to have here was a running back. We knew we had a few on the roster, but when I talk about running back, I always talking more of the stick your foot in the ground and let's make a guy miss and see if we can't take it the distance. I don't know how many of those we had on the roster, but I do know we got a couple now. And so I'm excited about Braden West, from running back, 5'10", 170 out of Katy Seven Lakes, coached by Liddell Wilson. Coach Wilson and I go way back from my time in Bay City, and knowing him, he's actually won a state championship down there before, and had several members that had coached with me, had coached with him. So we had a good relationship, and to have Braden on our team and part of this signing class was very instrumental. I talked to him this morning, as I did with all of them, and I know he's excited for this day. Xavier Jones, another running back. This young man, 5'10", 180 out of Spring, coached by Sam Parker. This guy right here is another one that has an opportunity to change a game in a hurry. Excited about him. Both these running backs, one of the big key adjustments that they'll have to make at this level is pass protection. And those will be things that we'll talk about down the road a little bit more. But this was the offensive MVP of District 15 6A, and first team all-district, and had over 2,500 yards and 29 touchdowns. And not only that, but he has the capability of catching the ball out of the backfield. So Braden and Xavier are two young men that I think are going to come in and make an impact in a hurry. And they're great students at that, and that's as important as anything. Keaton Bates, you know, Keaton, 6'4", 265, offensive lineman from right around the corner here at Arlington Lamar, coached by Trent Fuller. You know, Keaton comes from a family of athletes. His dad, Patrick Bates, was a standout at Texas A&M, and Keaton is an unbelievable athlete. Might be one of the better offensive linemen that I've seen move. His ability to move, and what we do offensively, we've got to have interior linemen that are athletic enough to pull and get out on the edge. And so excited about Keaton and what he brings. He's a young man that believed in us. We liked him and went to go visit him before Christmas. Came back after Christmas and really wanted to gauge his interest. He had several other offers, and Keaton Bates is a young man that you're going to hear a lot about this young man as well. Marcus McNeil, Marcus 6'3", 300 from San Antonio, Madison, coached by Mark Smith. Marcus was a young man that was committed to the prior staff, and excited about Marcus and his future. He plays in a great program, coached by again by Mark Smith, which a very good friend of mine, and excited about Marcus and what he's going to bring to our offense. A young man we got in on late, very fortunate to get in on him. Again, going back to relationships, and you'll hear me talk about that a lot. But my time down in Bay City, and Ben Rudolph at Brazosport High School gave us the opportunity to come in on Bryce Wilds, an offensive lineman, 6'7", 305 pounds. Young man that's only played football for 3 years. Got a tremendous upside, an unbelievable person. Let me just share with you that, and not just Bryce, but all these guys are. But this young man has got a tremendous upside. Excited about Bryce to give us an opportunity to come in, and he came up on his official visit, and that was enough. It didn't take him he couldn't even get through Saturday before he was so excited he had to go get him a hat. And so I was excited about Bryce. Again, we beat a lot of big schools on Bryce as well. Mitchell Kaufman from right around the corner, right in our own backyard, Highland Park, coached by Randy Allen. Randy and I, again, really good friend of mine, and Mitchell is a 6'3", 217-pound linebacker that is an extremely good athlete. You know, I know Mitchell plays some offense as well. And Mitchell and I have talked about that, and we've talked to Coach Allen about that this young man is a guy that you could see early on maybe making an impact in some of our tight end sets as well. But excited about Mitchell and knowing that we can stay right here in the DFW area and recruit a lot of these guys, and Mitchell being one right here in our own backyard. So excited about him. Matt McNew. Matt is a linebacker, 6'3", 220 pounds from Waco Robinson, coached by Tommy Allison. Matt was actually had several offers from some of the other staffs that we have, or from some of the other schools that we have staff members with us now. We're recruiting Matt, and man, when you meet his family and you watch him play and the program he plays in, this guy can run. He's violent when he gets to the ball, and that's what excites you about Matt. He's just he's a raw bone country boy that loves to hunt and fish and play football, and academics are important to him. So I tell you what, he fits right in with us, and excited about Matt. Austin Corbett, another linebacker. As you can tell, linebacker was another big need for us. Austin Corbett from Plano East, coached by Joey McCullough, 6'4", 200. Austin was a young man that came up in December on an unofficial visit, just to look around and kind of check out the new staff. Came back on an official visit and committed to us. And man, I tell you what, I'm excited about Austin and what he brings to us. Again, he brings some size, and you're going to see that with all these linebackers and the ability to run. So excited about Austin. Jordan Williams, another linebacker, what we'll call our star or our rover. He'll be the guy coming off the edge a lot. He's 6'1", 195 out of Jersey Village, coached by David Snookhouse. Again, David and I go way back. And this young man, we had to beat some schools in the SEC and Big Ten on this young man, and excited about Jordan. You know, he's another one that came up here, was ready to commit at another school, and when we just talked to him, and just come believe, just come tell us no, and that's okay, but come before you make your decision and check us out. And we got him and his mom and his grandma up here, and again, when he did not commit to us up here, he went back home, but he knew when he left out of here that Sunday that this was a special place. And again, it goes back to the relationships that we had with Coach Snookhouse. And again, we're excited, extremely excited about Jordan. This is a young man that's going to play and play quick. A very high academic young man, and excited about his future as well as ours with him. Hunter Thedford. Hunter's a young man that we had recruited at Clemson. A young man, a defensive end, 6'7", 225 pounds, from Comanche, coached by Stephen Hessmeyer. And Hunter is unique. He played both offense and defense, both sides of the ball. Hadn't really had an opportunity to slow down enough to gain the weight, but boy, he's got a huge frame, very athletic. But this young man is going to come off the edge and some pass rushing, and to be able to try to dip and lean into that corner, try to make some quarterbacks make them long days for them. So excited about Hunter. He's got to put some weight on. We got to get him on up, but we get him here, we'll take care of that. But I know he's extremely excited, as we are. Mike Scott. Mike, a 6'4", 220-pound defensive end from Irvin Nimitz, coached by Brian Rogers. Again, these actually got two twins, Mike and Delonte Scott. These are two young men that are definitely, they pass the eyeball test. When you see them, you're going to think these guys can go. Matter of fact, I think Coach Brown was over a little earlier. Won't know any of these guys play basketball. So he was excited as watching us celebrate this morning. It was really special to have him over, as well as President Turner. But Mike and Delonte Scott, both these young men from Irvin Nimitz, are high priority guys and getting them on the field and making a difference as they come off the edge. Being pass rush guys, you know, us moving from a 3-down front to a 4-down front is really huge. So Mike and Delonte are going to definitely help fill that void. Chris Biggers. Chris, a defensive tackle, 6'3", 245 from Coppell, coached by Mike DeWitt. You know, everything, we kind of got in late on Chris. Chris had several other offers, and he just didn't feel comfortable at the time. It was kind of getting into that 23rd hour of everything, and we had talked to him and didn't know, kind of gauging his interest and seeing what kind of interest level he would have. But because of some of the prior existing relationships with Coach DeWitt and knowing that, you know what, we've got a huge need for some interior linemen, defensive linemen, and Chris bought in and excited about Chris. Never came on an official visit. That should tell you enough about him. He trusted in our vision. And I tell you what, since we've signed him and gotten his NLI across, the amount of coaches in this state that have shot me a text saying, man, you guys have got a really, really sound player right there. It caused some problems for some offensive linemen. So we're excited about Chris. Rodney Clemens. Rodney, a safety out of Katy Taylor High School, coached by Trey Herman. 6 foot, 185. A young man that early on in December had an opportunity to go down there and see him and actually did a visit at school with he and his mom and dad. And again, you know, you take a chance when you go into school early, especially being a new staff, or whether or not that, because you won't get that home visit back. And so they came up, convinced them enough to come up on an official visit. And again, once we got them here and sold the city of Dallas and what we've got to offer here at SMU, it was an easy decision. And so again, excited about Rodney and plays in a great program. And finally, our last one is a kicker, Josh Williams from Rowlett. It's kind of a unique story, coached by Doug Stevens. They've actually had alternated kickers this year. I know you've probably heard the story. They would alternate back and forth, and who kicked, and he kicks this time, he kicks that time, and it's pretty unique for one school to have one Division I kicker, but for a school to have 2 Division I kickers, it's really unique. So we're so excited about Josh. You know, everybody kind of looks around and says, well, yeah, okay, it's a kicker. Well, you don't appreciate a kicker till you really need one. And we appreciate Josh because we need a kicker, and we know the impact that Josh is going to have on this team and this program. And again, just a huge, high academic guy, and have he and his family a part of this. And that's our 22. That's the 22 pioneers that believed in our vision. And a thank you to them and their high school coaches from the bottom of my heart, and their parents for believing in the vision. Again, I've said it once and I'll say it again. The academics, that's an easy sell. We can sell that all day long because we've got great things to sell. Football, you got to believe in what we're selling. And a year from now, it'll be a different story because we'll have a product that we put on the field that we can sell. But right now, you have to believe in our vision, and we definitely aren't going to let these guys down, nor are we going to let these high school coaches down, or our professors and our administration here with these young men. So I'm open for questions.
Coach, can you talk about the size you got at offensive line and linebackers, the tall guys, and how they fit your schemes?
Yeah, well, we'll start with the defense first. You know, we felt like that was, you know, as you looked moving from a 3-down to a 4-down front, you really had to have some range in the middle and have some guys to be able to come off the edge with some length, and so that was a big target for us. We had to go address that issue now, and in the same way at the defensive end position. I mean, we had to get some guys that could get their hands up, knock a few balls down, or tip a few balls. So that was a huge emphasis coming in. And again, you know, working with only a month and a half, you know, you have a select time to meet with your staff, and so we would usually meet with our staff about 1:30 or 2 in the morning over here at the Holiday Inn, where we were all staying. And so it just kind of all sell the same vision, but because of all of us knowing each other for the most part, we knew what we were targeting. And again, it's far more than about me. We had a group of coaches that when I say work 7 days a week for the last month and a half, they have been, and it's been nonstop. And so we've definitely addressed some of the needs. In the offensive line is another huge need. especially at our tackle position, and more so the size, the athleticism. We had to address that, and because of what we do offensively, being a two-back run-oriented football team that believes in taking play-action shots down the field, we had to get some guys that could move, and then some guys to be able to protect off that edge. While we didn't address all of our needs, we addressed the major needs that we had to have right now. So again, the guys that we got, we're extremely excited as we've partied all morning long, let me tell you.
Since you've been here such a short time, how much of your approach was targeting a specific number of players at different positions as opposed to going out and getting the best 22 guys available?
Well, we knew that obviously we had to take a quarterback. We knew we had to get some height at receiver. And so it was, we kind of had our number we were going to work with, and then we kind of at the end of the run here, we decided, hey, look, we're going to take whoever, the next best. And so, if you would have told me December 1st that we would have had to turn guys away, I'd have said you're crazy. And so we actually had to say, look, we're full at that position, and that was, that was tough to do as a coach. Nobody likes to turn anybody away or say, hey, look, we're full at a position. But again, it just tells you just the work that these guys and our support staff has put in to put us in that position. I can only imagine what 1 year from right now is going to look like when we have an opportunity to really get out there and build a solid relationship with everyone. So, but
you have your young staff. How much does that help when you hit the recruiting trail? These guys can really relate to players.
Well, I don't know if it's so much that as it is the fact that just does your staff believe in your vision? That's what it boils down to. And obviously every one of our guys, every one of our support staff up there is working for the same goal. They all want the same thing, and they want SMU to be successful. That's our goal. And we know what this program can be like. There's too much in this city to sell for SMU not to be successful. And so when you start looking at the majority of our staff, support staff, full-time staff, as far as coaching staff, has a Texas connection, that's easy. That's an easy sell. These 22 guys came from the state of Texas. The majority of these guys came from the DFW area, and that's our focus. And so that's a huge emphasis. So all of them, regardless of age, they all put their head down and they sprinted.
Kind of piggybacking off of that, you have about 11 guys from the Metroplex, and I know needs are more important, but is that about the right number to kind of get things going, to get that local base set for the future?
Well, when I first got here, I said, let's give everybody, they asked what my recruiting budget needed to be, and I said, well, just give us $90. That's $10 for every coach to put $10 worth of gas in their car, and that's all we need to get around the area. So obviously, we're going to recruit the DFW heavy. And that's a huge emphasis. We feel like with the relationships that we have here, we feel like that with the amount of players that are just right here. I mean, I think one of our coaches said a driver and a 5-iron, and he can get most of the guys he needs. And that's huge. And so, again, we're going to, as we build, obviously the state of Texas is huge because of our relationships in the Houston and San Antonio area. We're still going to build on that. But we want to win the DFW area and then into East Texas because of our connections in East Texas, and then get across our state.
Coach, you have about 6 guys from and around the Houston area. How much of that do you attribute to Coach Malone and Coach McDaniel being so entrenched already in that area?
100%. 100%. With their connection, obviously, with Archie playing in Bay City and playing underneath us there at Bay City, and his connection in the Houston area, and Coach Malone being from Houston, having recruited the Houston area, the relationships he has there, 100% of it. And those guys, without those 2 guys, we would not have gotten any of the Houston area guys that we have.
Delonte and Mike Scott both said that they wanted to go somewhere they could play linebacker. And a few minutes ago, you referred to them as defensive ends. Was that a tough sell for you and your staff?
Well, not really. Not really. I mean, once again, you put the vision out there, and a lot of what we do in some of our defensive, in our 4-down front, these guys will drop into a pass coverage in a 4-down scheme. And so to be able to sell the fact that these guys both can not only come off the edge as a pass rusher, but they can drop into pass coverage. And so without a doubt, those guys just, they came over here and saw it and believed it, and obviously their relationship with Coach McDaniel and Coach Malone was huge.
You talked today, you were introduced about how important getting a quarterback is and how important that position is. Can you quantify what getting Ben means for you in terms of that? I mean, is it head and shoulders above what you thought you were going to be able to do, or what?
Well, let me just, that's a great question. And let's first start off with, and celebrate the fact that one of our own quarterbacks here at SMU and one of my former players, Garrett Gilbert, was just part of a Super Bowl win. And so I think that everybody that's here in this room understands that had Garrett Gilbert not got hurt a year ago, SMU would probably go into another bowl game. And so I do know this. I may not be the smartest person around, but I do know if you've got a great quarterback, you've got a chance. And that guy makes it all happen. And so it was so important for us. We know that Matt Davis was back. We know that we have a couple others on the roster, Colbert and some of the other guys that we have. But for us, especially the new staff to come in and go land a top quarterback was huge for how this class was going to end up. And so Ben Hicks being that guy was huge for us. And again, all he had was 2 hours on a rainy Sunday afternoon to believe in us and believe in the vision. And about a 45-minute phone call with his mom and my wife, and I think that did it. I really think it was more that than us. And so huge for this class. I'm going to say it again. I think we're going to look back on this 3-4 years down the road, and this picture of this 22 is going to be on a wall somewhere and go, that was the group that believed it, but the main guy that really started it was Ben Hicks.
You've got such a fast-paced play style. How can you tell, looking at high school recruits, that they are capable of being conditioned to the tempo that you want to apply? Well,
I think, number one, the relationship that I have with these high school coaches in this state. And I can't tell you the number of staffs that have came out to Clemson and visited us, and just, if I would say 50, I'd probably undershoot at 50. It may be more like over 100 staffs that have came out and talked ball. That's the pace, and these players in this state are so well coached, and most of them are running some form of a hurry up. If they're not, they're trying to figure out how to run a hurry up. And if they are in a hurry up, they want to go faster. How can they go faster? And so that's an easy sell, a very easy sell. And as you project, as you project these athletes out and where you see them in the future, again, it goes back to the style they play in. And when you recruit a kid, you look for a couple of things. And number one, you look, are they a winner? And that doesn't mean that they have to, to be, their football team doesn't necessarily have to win the district championship, or even having a winning record. I mean, there's a lot of intangibles that maybe they maybe have some injuries, but that doesn't necessarily correlate straight with this kid a winner. I mean, when you go into a kid's home, is he a winner at home? Are his parents winners? And maybe he lives with a single parent, but that single parent's working 2 and 3 jobs to try to make sure that their families are supported, and that's a winner to me. I mean, that's a huge winner. Or maybe he lives with a grandmother, and she's sacrificed a lot in her life to make sure that her grandson is successful. That's a winner. And we know if they're winning at home and they're winning in a classroom, look, all the wins on the scoreboard, that stuff will take care of itself if we're recruiting the right kind of and right caliber of player.
Coach, when you were hired, you said you were looking to have a class around 24, 25. You're at 22. Are you guys on the lookout? I mean, you guys are always on the lookout.
And we're always looking out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're always looking out. So absolutely. I mean, we got a few that if something happens, great. But we wanted to find the right guys, the right fit. It's one thing for signing 25, but we want to sign the right guys. And the guys that fit SMU and fit what we do. And so we've got 22 strong, and we're extremely excited about the 22 we got, and know that, who knows? We'll see.
Was there a position that you would have liked to have had another one or two players at?
Yeah, obviously, an emphasis in the D-line was a huge emphasis for us. Us to be able to pick up Chris was big. And so, you know, again, it had to be the right fit. And so, you know, we could have signed one or two more of those if it was the right one or two. But we're excited about the one we got.
Coaches are always asked on signing day, how many guys can play early? Since everybody on the team is new to you and your staff, could that number be inflated this year?
Well, I would say 22 could, by looking at things in the past and kind of gauging for the future, I would say 22. It's hard to tell right now, and it's kind of a unique question you had there because, you know, as I sat and addressed that same question to parents on a Sunday before they leave, and I say, you know, it's going to be probably mid-August before we really know if your son's going to be redshirted. But the one thing I'll promise you, and the one thing I'll promise our administration and our athletic director, Rick Hart, is that I won't put a player out there until he's ready. And I would never violate that. When this young man's ready to play and we feel like he's ready to play, then we'll put him on the field. And until then, we're going to do what's best for him.
Take one more.
How do you see the out-of-state thing going forward? I mean, is this year just more a product of kind of fast-track recruiting and it's entirely in-state? Do you see kind of cherry picking in other places or starting more regionally or what?
Well, again, being a Texas high school football coach, I think right here in our own area, in our own state, there's some unbelievable players. The thing as a coach, as the head coach of SMU, that you don't want to do is I don't want to drive past a player to go get the same caliber of player in another state. It doesn't make any sense for us. Now, if there is a difference maker, which there are, that's an exception. And we're able to utilize relationships in other states that we've built through recruiting over the time we've been in this profession, then you do that.